who the top wide receiver is in the 2026 NFL draft. Now, this is a process here for these wide receivers that it's possible that somebody else sneaks into this debate, but it's December. The consensus has been between Carnell Tate of Ohio State, who took a huge leap, and Jordyn Tyson, who had a really good year, but was a bit banged up and was unavailable. So if I had to ask you, who is your favorite wide receiver of the two, who are you picking? Carnell Tate or Jordyn Tyson?
I feel like we're going to have the same answer again. I hope not. Carnell Tate's Ohio State is wide receiver 1 in this class. I'm so disappointed. I want to have some fights here, man. I want to fight. They are such different players, right? When you talk about Jordyn Tyson, Tyson's more in the 6'1", 195-pound, 200-pound range. A very sleek, 3-level threat. A guy that moves exceptionally well, has great downfield acceleration, is a very good route runner. He gets open, and he makes big plays. Carnell Tate is more of that like long boundary guy that could also play Z. He's got incredible length at the position. He makes great contested catches, plays outside of his frame. I think that Tyson's a little bit more of a explosive athlete potentially than what Carnell Tate is, but Carnell is just so smooth, man. He's smooth, and he's got a good overall top gear. So, I mean, he's been an incredible riser in this class. Because before the year, Joe, full transparency, I was very lukewarm on Carnell Tate. I liked Carnell Tate, but I was not in love with Carnell Tate because there was nuance and there was just understanding of the positioning that needed to happen. He was a great athlete. He was a great upside player, but he was not a great technician yet at the position. So that growth needed to happen. Even though he's missed a couple of games this year due to injury as well, you've seen that jump that he's been able to take this year for the Buckeyes. And it's funny enough, he's the wide receiver 2 on their offense, but he would be a wide receiver 1 on 99% of other teams in college football.
So my big thing with this debate, and yes, I am on the side of Carnell Tate over Jordyn Tyson. Tate took the step that he needed to. Jordyn Tyson kind of stayed the same. But that's not a bad thing. Jordyn Tyson's film was really good in the summer that he was wide receiver 1 because of just overall smoothness. He is a super smooth operator. I compared him to, and I texted you about this, I felt dirty doing it, but I really don't considering where he was picked in his draft class. Jordyn Tyson reminds me of Justin Jefferson. If he hits his ceiling and he gets to his potential and he gets back healthy, I think he could be Justin Jefferson. I think he could be a top wide receiver in the NFL. That is not a crazy thing to say. He does everything so well. He's got pretty reliable hands. He is a really great accelerator in and out of his breaks. He changes direction with absolute ease on all of his cuts. And I think that there's really tremendous refinement to the way that he's running his routes. The thing with Carnell Tate, and in a way to play devil's advocate here, I love Carnell Tate. I have him over Tyson.
Yep.
His deep route running is mesmerizing. He is a manipulator of defensive backs. It's hilarious watching these just subtle little jabs, and then you've got dudes that are flailing around and have no idea what's going on. They don't know what to do to counter these quick little steps that he puts into his deep routes. It requires a tremendous attention to detail. But I feel like where his weakness compared to Tyson, he is not as good at fully transitioning back up field. So if he's running a hitch, he's running a curl, I just feel he's a lot longer. He's a little bit clunkier. It's not bad to a degree where I'm like, oh my God, he can't do this. It's more so, it's not as smooth. I'd rather have him going downfield than I would rather have him trying to route guide some defensive back that he's going up against.
Is this fair? Tell me if this is fair. Carnell has longer strides, so he's not naturally as good of a change of direction athlete as what Tyson is. So Tate needs to be more technically proficient at all times, right? Like he needs to have good hip sync. He needs to have good route breaks. He needs to have consistent top ends. He needs all those things. Tyson doesn't necessarily need that all the time, Joe. Like when he's consistent, it's amazing, but like he's also still a naturally quick guy where even if he rounds off a route, he can still get in and out and still make some easy acceleration and easy impact and easy separation at the top of his route. Like, does that make sense as far as kind of the style being a little bit different, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's where the difference. They're very, very different receivers. They're going to play very, very different styles in the NFL. And I think that Tyson has the higher ceiling, but at the current moment, I think that it's not far off. I think both players can be premier receivers within an offense and be highly, highly productive. I just think that Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to ask, like, how much does the durability concerns for Tyson change your opinion on it? If that,
Tate was banged up too this year.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, what do you think about Tyson? So Tyson 2 years ago missed the entire season. Then 2024, he missed the back end of the season with a collarbone, right? Like he broke his collarbone. And then this year, he's been banged up as well. So like he's been hurt like 3 straight seasons in some capacity. Some obviously much more than others, but like the durability is a real concern for Tyson.
Yeah, and it's worth bringing up, and I don't know how that truly factors into what his evaluation looks like, but you do bring up it's been disappointing that we haven't gotten full years out of him. It was part of the summer discussion with him was like, hey, when are we going to get a full year? Is this going to be the year that we see him turn into the most productive wide receiver in the country? I'm just really, really enticed by him being able to do everything well. I want to add in here before we transition off of this, Carnell Tate, did you find it a little bit odd that for as being on the bigger side, that he wasn't great, he wasn't exemplary in contested catch situations? I felt like there were instances on film where he had a couple of really great concentration catches that he had to make, where he had guys bearing down on him. But I felt like I noticed instances on film where he would be in tight spots against more physical corners, and it would lead to incompletions.
I didn't really get that too much. I mean, I felt like he made a couple really incredible, spectacular contested catches in those contested situations where he had to get toward his body into some really strange situations. My question is, Joe, like, are you talking about contested catch? Because we can't differentiate contested catch for a second, right? Are we talking about contested catch as in he's elevating in the air, winning at the catch? What are we talking about? He has a in-breaking route where there's a defender that kind of attacks the catch point with him still in stride. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of a differentiator there.
I didn't get that nuanced in my notes in being that specific to those specific circumstances. I just had caught in the games that I watched of him instances where I felt like he was in really tight quarters with defensive backs and didn't come down with the ball. And I found it a little bit weird because I thought that he'd shown that his hands were a lot better. He was improving in that regard, but it hadn't fully made that jump. I just really thought that he was going to be like this big bodied, close quarter dominator because he has a big frame. He's got pretty good play strength. I'd want him to win all the time in those spots if you're of a receiver of that physical profile.
I don't know if it's a hot take, but I consider Carnell Tate can play into the boundary as like an X receiver, but I actually consider him more of a Z than an X. I think.
Agree.
Like I
was thinking when I wrote down his
evaluation,
I wrote that same thing down. Like I thought that like he's built like an X, but he would play a lot better as a Z. That I would like him to operate a lot more on those types of route concepts for a Z receiver rather than I would like him to be focused on as an X.
I think he is juiced up Robert Woods. Like he is Robert Woods on steroids. He is what Robert Woods was stylistically as a football player, as a short intermediate separator, but he's got more juice and more size than what Robert Woods had. So think Robert Woods style, but just a bigger, stronger athlete is kind of how I coin Carnell Tate as a player.